Welcome to the DonorWise Learning Library. This is part 2 of the Bank Import Module's new multiple designation feature. In this session, we're going to be talking about assigning the cross-references in the new Bank Import module. Let's head back over to DonorWise, where we were right in the middle of creating our new bank import. In the last session, we created all of these derived fields to assign them multiple designations and connected them with the target fields that they're supposed to be: designation ID 1, 2, and 3, tendered amount 1, 2, and 3. And then we also added wildcards for these columns to ensure that if a donor is not supporting multiple designations, that those columns import as blank values. What we're going to do in this session is assign all of the cross-references for this very simple bank import. This particular bank file has only 3 rows in it, and all 3 of them are donations. So we've tried to make this as simple as possible to focus specifically on this particular situation. The first cross-reference I'm going to add is this skip record 1. Now this particular bank import file doesn't have any other deposits or checks or service charges. It's only donations. And so this donation record is the value that we're going to keep. And then when I click out of that, it's going to, oops, I forgot. Now in this particular record, we don't have any donations. Now in this particular bank import file, we don't have any other transactions besides donations. We don't have any other deposits. We don't have any checks from the ministry or drafts that are going out to pay bills. We don't have any service charges or anything like that, just donations. And so this donation value is going to be my skip record value, which I'm going to tell DonorWise is the one we want to keep. I press the Add Cross-Reference button, and then when I click back over here, you'll see that it says false, which means false, do not skip this record. The donor ID is pretty straightforward. It's just like it was used before. I select this particular value. It's Peter Pan, so I search for him. There it is, Peter and Wendy Pan. I click OK and add that cross-reference. Now I want to point out something that's new in DonorWise 2.0, and that is that previously when you added a cross-reference, all it would do is turn the reference value from red to green, but it would still leave the cryptic code that was there. As you can see over here on the right, that makes for a pretty big grid of cryptic codes. So now what DonorWise 2.0 does is it shows the cross-referenced value instead. So this is the value as it came from the bank. This is the cross-referenced value, and that's the donor ID 10254, and there it is. Now if I double click here, I can actually see the value again. I don't have to go down here and look at it. Okay, now we're going to assume for this video that Peter Pan is supporting only one designation for 25. And we'll say that that is Clark Kent. So I select Clark Kent. I select Clark Kent and add that value, add cross-reference, and the amount is going to be 25. And I just type that number in here and add that cross-reference. There it is, 25. Now what DonorWise is going to do is when it goes to import, it's going to add up all of the tendered amounts from this row. This one is of course going to be blank. This one's going to be blank as well, which equals 0. So 25, 0, and 0 equals 25. So it's going to import that one correctly. Now this next donor, Donald Duck, is supporting 3 staff members at 100 each. So I select the donor and I search for him. There we go, Donald and Daisy Duck. I click OK and add that cross-reference. They are also supporting Clark Kent. I add that cross-reference. And then I go here and add this one for 100. Now just a reminder, the reason we can have the same exact value appearing 6 times in our table is because it's looking at this string Duck Don 1595927 and says when this string appears in this column, tendered amount, or tendered amount 1 as we're using it, then it equals 100. And so the cross-referenced value is specific from column to column. Now, as I said, Donald Duck is supporting 3 staff members. And so what I'm going to do for this one, notice that this is a valid value and it's none, but I'm going to override that by actually selecting a designation. In Lois Lane, add that cross-reference for 100. And Bruce Wayne, also for 100. And I add that. Now this third donor is Daffy Duck. I select them there, add that cross-reference. Now Daffy Duck is supporting 2 staff members. We're going to say that he is supporting Bob Parr, who's the director of our ministry, for 75, and is also supporting Peter Parker for 50, and I add that cross-reference. And then this one stays blank. Now, of course, you know, you've already added up in your head that 75 and 50 do not equal 100. And that's why this test feature is such a great thing, using the total tendered amount import. Field, target field, using the total tendered amount target field. Let's go ahead and test this and see what happens. Sure enough, the value of the total tendered amount field, 100, does not agree with the total of the given tendered amounts, which is 125. And I click OK. And I need to change this so that it adds up. I update that cross-reference. I test it. It all looks good. And I can import that. So it's 425 in this particular bank import. I click OK. And there's the batch. Peter and Wendy Pan for 25. Donald and Daisy Duck and their 3 designations. And Daffy and Daphne Duck and their 2 designations. All right, now let me show you real quick what this would look like if we changed one of the donors' amounts. Now if we did change this last one to 125, and I save this file, and I go back into DonorWise and I do this again, again, I select the same bank import file, only it's the next month. Now, if you look at this third row, all of a sudden it's red again. And the reason it's red is because this string of characters has changed. From the bank's perspective, it may not have changed at all. The bank reference number may be the same, but the amount of the donation has changed from 100 to 125, and as a result, this string of text has also changed. So now this is not a valid value. So I'm going to select this again. Bob Parr there for 75. And then for this one, Peter Parker, add that. And now this one is 50, which is what we tried before but did not work. and this third column, third designation and tendered amount, remains blank. I test that, it all looks good. So that's how we assign the cross-references for the new bank import module. I hope you find this to be a wonderful and helpful feature. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to contact us, and we would be glad to walk you through it and answer any questions that you may have. Thanks, and have a great day.